Welcome to Be Customer Led, where we'll explore how leading experts in customer and employee experience are navigating organizations through their own journey to be customer led, and the actions and behaviors employees and businesses exhibit to get there. And now your host, Marbue Brown.
Hello, everyone. And Be Customer Led is back with another special episode for you. Ever since the AI revolution burst onto the scene with the introduction and the adoption of ChatGPT, it's been apparent to me that one of the most promising opportunities for AI is in the realm of enhancing customer experience. Now, some people think that AI is more likely to diminish customer experience instead of enhancing it, but when it's approached the right way, it has tremendous potential to raise the bar for customer experience. And we're continually bringing you programs that demonstrate that potential and that show how some companies are already realizing it. Well, today's program continues our journey down that path. Today, our guest is Tal Peretz. He's the CEO of Onfire AI, and their work helps to elevate CX in a section of the customer journey that we don't tackle often, and that is sales/shopping experience portion of the customer journey. So we're looking forward to getting into this and learning more about how that can be enhanced through AI. And I'd like to welcome you to the program, Tal.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
I'm excited about the conversation we're about to dive into because, like I said, it's dealing with a part of the customer journey that we don't tackle a lot, but it's an important one nevertheless. But before we get started on how AI is transforming the shopping experience for technical buyers, we'd like to give our audience a chance to get to know you better. So could you share a little bit with us about your career journey and how it is you came to be a co-founder and CEO at Onfire AI?
100%. Happy to do that. So I'm Tal. I'm 31 years old. I've been building for the last decade data and AI solutions, from nationwide scale to cybersecurity. And I've been doing many of my last role from the engineering or the technical background. And before Onfire, I was a CTO of a company called Onid, which it was working the authentication and identity space. And after that journey, I co-founded Onfire with my two co-founders today, Nitzan and Shahar, where we've been working together in the past, building AI and data solution. And almost 3 years ago, we started Onfire AI when we see the potential opportunity in helping companies and people getting a much better buying experience and shopping experience, as you mentioned before, which we really believe this is the lifetime opportunity that we have today.
Well, cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. And of course, one of the things that came out in that piece there is that, look, AI has been around for a while. Generative AI and ChatGPT helped to, popularize it and make it burst onto the scene. But like you said, you've been building some things over a course of time, and it's culminated in, what has become Onfire AI. But, again, I think it's worth it for you to tell people about, what Onfire does so that they have a little bit better understanding of it. Let me try out something here. So I almost think of it as kind of sort of a matchmaking service for, technical buyers who are ready and in the market to get something, and for sellers who have that something that they want to sell, and they don't want to be pestering people, badgering people. And so it's like a match made in heaven. These two people are coming together with the technology that you're bringing. Now, that's my layperson's terms for talking about what you guys do, but you tell us.
No, 100%. I think you get it right. And I like the matchmaking, analogy of that. I think, the main thing about Onfire is that we are a vertical AI solution. And we understand that in today's era, AI brings to the table a lot of noise to the buyer. Imagine that everyone today can share and send out a list of emails that will be some kind of personalized with some generic AI capabilities. And what we understand from the sellers and buyers is that they want to find the right timing, right prospect, and in the right context. So this is will be, a win-win situation from both the seller and the buyer perspective. And when we started the company, we understand that specifically around technical buyers, the ones, like CISOs, CTOs, CIOs, those kinds of people that are trying to solve, I want to say, probably the toughest, technology problem in the organization. Those audience or this audience is basically one of the toughest one to crack on and to work with because they have this, resistance to salespeople. They only want to explore and they only want to be approached if they have a problem, which makes sense. Yeah, I don't want to be hit up by a salesman if I don't have any pain right now or if I'm not in market for a solution. So what we do, we help them reduce this noise, having the context of what is happening based on the AI activity that we're generating from the public web. And just when the timing is right, providing this information to the seller where we can uplift his conversion rates. And at the same time, the buyer getting a much better experience because someone already understands what is happening right now. So this is how we came up with this specific, solution for Onfire. And this is how we help our customers today.
It's so interesting because you talked about the noise level. And when it gets right down to it, the noise level has escalated in a lot of different ways. I work with somebody who's doing solution for courts. And that's, the volume of things that are being filed in court has escalated because of AI, right? And like you're saying, technical buyers are being bombarded with all kinds of noise because AI has the capability for people to automate a lot of things and pitches are being automated and just bombarding people with a lot of noise. You combine CRM data, live web signals, community level behavior to identify those buyers that are in market. And then, you use that information, your customers actually use that information to do outreach to potential buyer. How does that change the way that your customers, prospects actually experience the outreach from them? Because your customers are actually the salespeople who want to go get somebody to buy something. But how does that change the experience for the people who are trying to buy?
100%. No, that's a great question. I think, once we set up the infrastructure of what we called like the AI context, which is basically understanding, a 360-degree view of the buyer from your previous engagement, from your CRM or call transcripts, and into what is happening right now based on this public and community data. Now, what is happening from the buyer perspective is that it will get the cold call or the outreach, but it will be much more contextual to his needs. Now, imagine like a world without Onfire. Those buyers will be getting, hey, I am a salesman at X. We are working with industry this and that, and I'll be happy to show you our product if that makes sense to you. And you're getting this on a daily basis. With Onfire, it will be something that understands you as a buyer, knows that you've been in touch with us in the past, and putting the right context right now. So let's imagine something like, hey, I'm Tal. I know that we've been in touch 2 years ago. I think maybe right now is a better timing because I saw that you're looking into a cybersecurity solution that our company basically is in the market leaders in the space right now. Would you be happy to jump on a call to see if we can help you find, solve your pain? That's a completely change in how the buyer will react to that. It will be more open to take the call. It will appreciate the research and he appreciate that his time is valuable. And from the seller side, as we understand, the conversion rates goes up and they're, in much less amount of activities, they can reach out to basically close more deals and provide more revenue to the company. So this is how like the AI context basically changing the game for how you do outreach and outbound to those buyers.
Do you have a favorite example of how two companies came together, using this type of technology, using the AI to help, make that match?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. One of my favorite stories is when I have a good friend is right now a CTO of a company. And he told me that he got a phone call and he was so impressed of the research of the sales rep that he decided, to take the meeting and let her the path about the product. And the same salesperson is an on-fire user. I asked him, "Hey, I know that I see that you've been talking with my friend there," and then was, "Yes, I knew everything about him. He likes that. He understands that. I understand his pain." And then I said, "Okay, this is like a match made in heaven," as you mentioned before. So the things that I like in this job, like getting to show that first of all you're providing value, and you make sure that everyone's time is valuable, and of course they're solving their pain points. So that's even better.
Yeah, I mean, if you have somebody getting a hold of you and it's exactly the kind of solution that you need, that's pretty much a big deal. So tell a little bit about how you're able to, create this context. What are some of the things that you're surfacing that enables, these sellers, if you will, to seem not so much like they're making a pitch, but they're meeting a need? What are you guys working with to help bring that together for us?
Yeah. So we break it down into, I want to say, three main layers.
Mm-hmm.
One is our AI engine basically surface the data points from a public communities like Reddit or X or any other source. That's one. Second,
So let me
we
stop you for a second. So if these CTOs or CSOs, the chief security officer, or these CIOs are having conversations or talking about stuff that they're looking to do in X or Reddit or in some of those places, you all are picking up that information and feeding it into Onfire, which becomes part of how you create that context.
Yeah, 100%. You touched the point because those platforms become so popular in this audience that you have on a daily basis millions of messages and conversations that's happening that on fire let you getting an access to those, and you can find just the relevant ones for you. That will be layer number one. Layer number two will be ingested and put it in the context of your existing customer activities. So if you had any, past engagement, any past meetings, maybe he's a former customer. So we tied it up together. And then the last one, as we use the AI models today, we able to draft the specific email or pain points based on the relevant data points. And what I love about the last layer is we basically save reps time. We make sure that there's still human in the loop motion where we empower them to use the right data, but they can add in their tone, change it, tweak it, whatever they like. And in this case, the buyer from the other end getting a much more relevant messaging and understanding of its true unique point of view right now. And we basically closing the loop on those three layers based off our own AI infrastructure.
Cool. So, I mean, like, do you guys have indicators that you look at, that you watch, or you suggest that your customers watch to know whether the buyer's experience is being improved? Do you have any leading indicators? What are those?
Yeah, so leading indicators, that will show that there is a change in the buyer perspective. It will start with the engagement statistics. So with Onfire, you usually will see a difference between the life before Onfire and after, specifically just if people will be receptive when they take the phone call or doing the email. So you will get a reply. It usually will be a positive reply. That's a good early indicator that we are, in the right track to understand the pain points and understand the messaging.
So before, if you think about before and after, how much
Yeah.
of an improvement in engagement statistics are you all seeing with your customers?
That's a great question. And I think like it's a range, as we all know. And let's say in the minimum, it will be around 4x in terms of like the response rate and the meeting rate with
4x
Onfire. And
is like the minimum.
Yeah, this is what we're saying right now. And like the best one, I want to say that even around like 8x from what they already have today. And of course, it depends on your style and maturity and data, domain.
Mhm.
But the Onfire team will help you use the platform in the best way possible to make sure that we are providing the ROI and those leading indicators inside your workflow. I think like something that, for me as a founder and as a CEO, I think like we are not here just to build a cool technology or provide a cool product. We really want to put customer, in the center of everything and make sure that they having and getting the value out of it. And this is how the value looks like from our side.
Cool. So, is there a particular on fire feature that you are really proud of because of the experience impact that it delivers?
Yeah, 100%. I think like the main, that like the one of probably the top features in On Fire and the thing that we are most exciting about right now is what we call like the On Fire AI agent, where you
Hmm.
basically can, write it down like a chat GPT kind of like a experience, but with the power of the entire organization context. So you have your CRM data, call transcripts, and attached to that the public web and the anonymization capabilities of Onfire. And then you can ask questions like, hey, I want to find right now in market buyers that's looking to have any cybersecurity solution or any DevOps problem. And you will get in the data already enriched with all of those data sources. So you can have the best list with the full context right away in free text and just, conversational intelligence working with the platform. And this is like, if we will have this conversation like 5 years in the past, I don't think we will pass it, we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, AI has unlocked all kinds of things, and one of the points you made early on is that you all are a vertical AI solution. And I think that, for some people early on didn't understand the distinction about the kind of the type of generalist solutions that are out there, in like the chat GPT and the Claudes and all of those kinds of things versus the vertical solutions where it's specifically trained, to do a certain thing and it's trained to identify specific companies and all of that sort of stuff. It's a little bit different. And because of that, it does certain things better because it's a specialist as opposed to a generalist, right? What surprised you most in how customers actually use the platform versus how you originally envisioned them using it to support the relationship between the buyers and the sellers?
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that because we just had today a call about it in the office. And what surprised us, and it's just something that we need to, to look internally if this is like a popular usage or not, but this is like a new thing that we just saw is like when people understand the context, it's not just about who to engage with and with what context. They also getting the intelligence of who should have been in touch with.
Hmm.
Assuming that I don't want to be in touch with, for example, if this is a user that use one of my better competitors or things that I have, harder way to solve this problem, and maybe my competitor is better than me. But now with Bonfire, I can have both worlds. I can understand like who is in market and I can help him right now and I need to focus my time and effort on him. And who is maybe in market, but my chances are not so great here. And
Hmm.
then I can decide. So we saw a lot of users basically take the path of understanding what's not to do and take the time to that essence. And that's what's pretty surprising for our side, because we haven't been fun about this, like where we, envisioned the product and built it and working with the first, 100 users. And now where we are in the thousands, we are seeing like something has completely changed in the way they can use the intelligence and combine with the AI.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because every now and then I get a call that I pick up. I try not to pick up these calls, but every now and then I get a call from somebody, a cold call who's trying to sell me something. I have to tell them, look, I'm not your target and I don't want to waste your time. Essentially, what you're saying is that, one of the things that your customers are learning is who not to approach, not only who to approach, but who not to approach, and so they aren't spending their time on that, right? So
Yep.
like, how do you work it out so that the suggestions that are being generated by AI lead to more human context reach conversations than something that sounds like generic, or like an AI sounding thing.
Yeah, that's a great question, and this is, I think, one of the most fascinating things about AI technology because there are so many depths in it and levels that you can go. And I think what we're doing here in Onfire, which I think is pretty unique, is we break it down to few parts. One is we have been trained the model based on what is a good email and a human related email or human related data points that should be from thousands and tens of thousands of emails that we're getting from our customers and they share with us, so we can basically build this machine to be much better. So that's one. The second is we adding what we call like a human guardrails on top of the AI. So we imagine that once we're getting an output from the AI perspective, we have an additional layer of AI that asks it to be more human. Because we
Okay.
truly believe that, you and I, when we're getting a message, we can read, in the subtext, the AI the generation of this message.
Hmm.
And we are adding this layer on top of that. So it will make sure it will look and feel like human touch that's
Hmm.
be involved in this creation. So once we have the model that we train to be more human and the layer of the human guardrails, we can make sure that our customers getting a much better human touch experience out of the AI from Onfire.
Yeah, so there's always human in the loop too, right? So I guess in some respects, if the human in the loop, is looking at this email or whatever, recommended, set of words that OnFire is giving, they can get a feel for, does this feel like it works, or does it not, right?
100%. No, I think this is, we built the company from like a human in the loop approach at first. So that's pretty resonant what we're doing right now.
Cool. So when you start thinking about, 3 to 5 years out, how do you think the AI native tools are going to change what buyers from sellers? Because let's just put it this way: right now, the buyers don't necessarily expect all that much. They expect to get the generic. They expect to get the bombardment and all that kind of thing. But how do you see that changing over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question, and in 5 years, I think like, this technology moves so fast. So it will be hard for me to imagine 5 years, but let's try,
I'll take a
that's the
shorter
fun out.
count. Let's say a year or two out.
So the way I see it from the bot perspective is that their view will change completely. And if right now we are looking into more generic, approaches or generic messaging or something that should be like putting in front of like a couple of audience together and it will be fine, the buyer will look at that and it will look for the personal experience in every aspect of the buyer lifecycle, from the messages that he's getting, from the timing aspect, from the research that we've been looking for, and of course from the visual. Because
Mhm.
if I'm a CISO of, let's say, for example, a financial services company, it's a completely different experience if I'm a same CISO but I'm working, for example, for the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will want to see different stuff, different challenges. I want to get it maybe in a different language. And AI will transform everything in this essence. It will, if it has the right context, and this is why we are betting, on this verticalization and the context.
If buyers recognize that you all are training, models and stuff using community like Reddit or Signal or whatever the community is, do you think they will start to maybe contribute more conversations in there because they know that it will help bring more relevant context things to them? What do you think?
That's super interesting. I think like there might be a chance that they will do that, definitely. And when they will understand that this is part of what, like, deciding how the AI will be translated into it. So that definitely can be a part of it for sure.
And I think I interrupted you a little bit, so I don't know if there's
No,
something
good.
else you wanted to.
No, I'm fine.
What aspects of how this is working for you all that we haven't talked about yet? Anything that's missing that we should have covered that you want to share with the folks who are listening?
Yeah, I think like the last point for my end is I think we're living the most exciting, era of our lives right now. I think AI is unlocking so many options, and we are tackling probably one of the toughest one. How you do the matching between the buyers and the sellers, and helping like companies grow revenue and people getting the right solution for their pains. And for everyone that's looking to build solution, looking to find, looking to do, feel free to send me a message to get to know me. I'd be happy to help. I think like this technology is so disruptive and should be taking into consideration and some experience. So I'd be happy to do that. And yeah, I think that this is super exciting. I can talk about this for hours.
So how do people get a hold of you if they want to continue this conversation? What's the best way for them?
Feel free to shoot me an email over tal@onfire.ai. That's probably we'll make sure that I will see it. That's 1 second. I'm pretty available on LinkedIn, so feel free to contact me and to send me a direct message. And if you're looking, to find a job in AI, so we are hiring across all the different, positions right now. So you can jump on the website of Onfire and see that. And yeah, happy to help.
Cool. So, this whole conversation we've been having, we've really focused it on what's the experience of the buyers and whatnot. But I'm curious, as you guys have collaborated with, companies, helping them do this better matching, have you had any company just experience kind of like almost an explosion in the amount, deals that they're closing, and how much of an increase have you seen with that?
So, we have like a couple of examples, but I think like, to give you like a high level estimation is that we are seeing a growth for 30%, 35, 40%, 50% max inside those companies that basically started to use Onfire and now right now, crushing their goals with the same headcount. This is the true thing for me, like you don't need to put more people on the problem because right now AI is taking care of it for you and empower your own team. So you can also, be pretty profitable in terms of like what are you doing today, and at the same time providing more business and more revenue to you if you will use Onfire. And this is what we're trying to build here.
The better on both sides. Buyer gets a better experience. The seller gets better experience. Maybe they make their quotas or something.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the case. Tal, I really appreciate you coming to talk to us today. Again, like I said at the top of the program, a big opportunity for AI is helping to raise the bar on the customer experience. And in this case, the customer that we were thinking about is like the technical buyers, like the CTOs, the CIOs, the CISOs, who are the chief security officers and people in their teams who are going out there to acquire these solutions, trying to acquire, these solutions without, having to sift through all this noise, but, being able to get to a more targeted discussion quicker. So I want to thank everyone who has, tuned in to listen to us today. I appreciate you making the time for Be Customer Led. And just like we've done today, next time around, we're going to have another exciting program for you that helps to elevate how you tackle the experience in your company for the customers and employees. You may have some questions for Tal that we didn't cover today. Feel free to circle back to us with your questions. We'll make sure to get to him. And of course, he's also given you his contact information to get to him directly. We look forward to you joining us next time. But for today, we say thank you. We'll be back.
Thanks for listening to Be Customer Led with Marbue Brown. We are grateful to our audience for the gift of their time. Be sure to visit us at becustomerled.com for more episodes. Leave us feedback on how we're doing or tell us what you want to hear more about. Until next time, we're out.